Oh, we're recording. Alright, hello and welcome. My name is Mark A, and welcome back to Creative Coding. So, sorry for that intro. Just really excited. So, let's get into this video. And so, today's video is going to be another flat design tutorial. But in this tutorial, we're going to be looking at something a little bit more advanced, which is this landscape thing. You're going to be able to create this really cool landscape. As you can see, it has multiple layers. It looks really, really cool. But before I start, I just want you guys to write something in the comment. Here's a question: what inspired you to do flat design? Okay, so go ahead, think of it for 5 seconds. Now go into the comment section and write the answer. Okay, so with that said, let's get into the tutorial. So, to start off, what we're going to do is we're going to go into a new Figma page. And you obviously won't have this, but I will be using this as a reference. And I'm going to press on New. And let's go on Blank Canvas and create File. Okay. So now that I'm here, let's start. So first thing I'm going to call this, I'm just going to change the name to, let's call it Flat Design Forest Tree. Okay. So now that we have flat design forest tree, we can start off by making a frame and just dragging and dropping a relatively squarish frame. We can just fix this after. So I'm going to change the width and height to about, let's just say 300. Oh, not 100, but 300. Sounds good to me. So yeah, so this should be good. And now what we're going to do is we can start working on it. So if we go back to our other page here, Flat Design 1, we can see that we have a background. So this has 3 layers. So this is the first layer, this is the second layer, and this is the third layer. And while I'm hovering over it, you can see that I have these, all of these are really cool things. They're all little squares with curved edges. So as you can see, this is made of really basic shapes. Just like how I said in my last video, I'll put a card up to it right there, I believe, or there. I think it's there. Yeah, it's definitely there. So I'll put a card up to my latest video on flat design there. Make sure to check it out because I talk about all these simple shapes making something really, really cool. So let's get started. So we can see here that this is our main layer. Our background layer is going to be this nice greenish color. So what I can do to check it is I can actually just click on it. And as you can see, we have this fill of B4FFA8. So I'm just going to keep the screen open for like 3 seconds. So make sure to copy, think of it and write it down. So 3, 2, 1. Hopefully you got it. I'm just going to Control C. And now we can go to here, fill, and we can change the background easily. Great. So it's looking really good. So B4FFA8. Okay? B4FFA8. So now that we have that there, we can go back and we can basically start working on our first layer. And our first layer is going to be the really dark part. So we can start off by, what we can do is we can actually take this away from the other pieces. As you can see, it's not one continuous frame, but it's actually a mix of 3 frames. So we can just zoom up and we can focus on this frame for now. So now that we have this frame here, what we can do is we can see that we have a square here that's curved. So what we're going to do to start creating our first bush is we're going to click on our square tool and we're going to make a square. Just like this. I'm actually going to extend the frame a little bit longer because I think that should be good. But we're just going to create a small square just like that. As you can see, it doesn't look too good right now, but don't worry, we're going to fix that really soon. So we have our square here, and we're going to give it an edge rounding of about 25, 25-ish, 24-ish, I think should be good, 24. Yep, 24 is good. And now what we do is it's placed like this. So as you can see, we have this gap that we really don't want, so we're just going to tuck it into the corner, just like that. We have our first bush. I can make it longer if I want. And now we need to take the color for it. So I'll put the color code up on screen. But if we see here, our color code is 0E3600. So hopefully I can make an animation of this right there. Yeah, so 0E3600. So I have this bush really nice bush. Great. So now that we have this bush, we can start actually working on our next layer. And if we want, we can go to this next bush. But first, I'm going to start with these 3 small trees. So we have 3 small trees, and as you can see, I bet you can guess this, but they're just triangles. So what we can do is we can just we can go to our tool, and we can go to triangles or polygons, I guess that's what they call them. And now we can make them varying in size. I'm just going to place them just like that. And it doesn't matter if it's over or under right now, but for now we can just keep it anywhere we want. I'm just going to make them smaller in size, continuously getting smaller. Just like that, we have our 3 trees, and we can change the color. So we can change our color, and if we go to fill, if we go to fill, we can see our document colors that we've used, and we can choose this dark green color. So as you can see, it worked. We can go to our next one. Change that one to green, and finally our last one, we can change it to green. So as you can see, now we have all our trees, and now the last thing we need to do is we can actually just change the sizing of this by a little bit, because I noticed this one is a little small. So I think that should be good, and now we have our main 3 trees just like this, as you can see. So our next thing we need to work on is our small little slant just like this, and this isn't a triangle or anything, it's literally just a rectangle that's tilted on its side. And so this tutorial is going to be, like, through these Figma tutorials, you're going to be learning advanced stuff and fundamental stuff like curving, all that stuff. So we can actually just Control-C and Control-V, command, control, whatever you want to do, whatever you're on, Mac or Windows. And now, if we see this, we can actually just make it a little bit longer. And if we see this white square, we can go a little bit further out, and we have this curved arrow button. So what we can do with this is we can turn it on its side, and just like that, it's like magic. But the problem is it doesn't really fit, so we need to make this a little bit bigger, I think. Yeah, so I think this should be good just like that, and we can make this a little smaller just like this, just so it looks like it fits in place. Just like that. We can make this a little bigger. So as you can see, just like that, we have our hill. But we can still edit it. We can always edit it through it. But for now, I think this should be fine. So now what we can do is, instead of having the trouble of curving it again, we can just copy and paste this, and we can start making our last layer. And so this is basically our last layer for the green, but now we just need to add these trees just like that. So what we can do is make our trees, and to make our trees, we can either do the triangle or Control-C and Control-V from those triangles, but for good practice, I'm just going to make my own tree. So just like that, and again, Control-C, Control-V, make a little shape like that, and now just a rectangle. So now that we have a rectangle here, we can literally just create something just like that, and just like that, we have our tree. So now I can Control-C, Control-V, make them all symmetrical, and this is what makes it so easy. Flat design is very easy to understand, it's very easy to do, but in the end, as I said before, it makes something really, really cool. So we have our symmetrical trees. Oops, I don't want that happening, so we can just make them symmetrical. So now that we have all our trees, we can give them the fill. So I'm going to give them the fill just really easily, just like that, through all the trees. And then once we have our trees, that's going to be basically like we're going to be almost done. Then we just need to do some, like, 2 more steps, and then we'll be done. So, yeah. So I'm just going to put some trees, color green, color green, color green. Okay, got it. Okay, guys, so now that we have our main layer, which is like this, this thing that you see first. So now in the background, like if you see my hand, then you can see a hand behind the hand. This hand's gonna appear more like it's gonna appear more to you, so it's gonna be darker, right? So that's why we have our lighter colors in the back and darker colors in the front. So we can actually start by making these squares right in the back, and then we can make these trees and bushes. So I'm gonna actually just Control C and Control V, and I'm gonna go like this. But the main difference I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cover the whole thing. And you're probably wondering right now, like, why am I doing this? It's covering the whole thing. We can't see anything. We just ruined everything. Why am I doing this tutorial? Why am I gonna subscribe? Also, by the way, subscribe. But this is what you're gonna do, okay? You're going to right click on it, and you're gonna say send backward. Send backward. Oh my god. Send to back. So now that we have our send to back, hopefully this will work. Let's try it out. Let's see. We can change the color just like magic. If we say send to back, send backward, or send to back, we can magically just change the color. Now we can either like ruin this, make it, red, or we can actually make it proper. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this color code, and I'll put the animation on the screen, but we can see this color code is 007818 animation. 007818. I repeat, 007818. Control C, Control V, and now as you can see we have our background layer just like that. So I'm gonna make this a square, and I'm just trying to estimate how long our thing is. So yeah, so we have this, but the problem is that we have all these curves and all this stuff. So what we can actually do is we can move this down by a bit. We can see it just like that. We can move it down by a bit. I think that should be good. And now we can build our stuff on it. So as you can see, we have like a base layer here, which is what we have. So now we need to build this small square on it, and then some other stuff. So we can Control C, Control V again, and we can curve it. So if you forgot how to curve, just go to the white square and go like 2 millimeters, 2 pixels, like below it, in front of it, and just curve it. So now that we have our curve, I think it should look okay. We can change the document color, and just like that, we have our curve. So I'm gonna curve it just right, just like that. And now we can we don't need to curve this one. So I'm just gonna Control Z until I have it straight, just like that. I'm gonna give it the color, nice. And if we see here, there's an angle, which is rotation. Always either change it to 0 or 90, because we never want something that's not like proper, that's not like randomly curved by 2%. That's never nice, okay? So now we can actually just add this other square. So to do that, we can just Control C and Control V. And instead of making a step, this is when you would want to curve it. And as you can see, it doesn't look too good, but we can match this curve with the other curve just like that. And now we have this beautiful hill thing. So now that we have the hill thing, we can make another one of this just like that. And then one more hill climb, I believe. So hill climb. So we can just make it just like that, curve it up. Something like this very easily. Just like that. And now our last thing is to, actually I'm just going to change that by a little bit there. That looks good. Okay, now what we would do is we can add our last final trees in. So we have these 2 circles here, right? So what we're going to do is these are ellipses. So we're going to add ellipses. So we have our ellipse here, and I'm just going to make it kind of small. We can fix it at any time. But I actually got it on the dot, 28 by 28. So you can use 28 by 28, use any size that you think looks good with it. But I'm going to actually just make it centered using the lines, and I'm going to change the color to, you guessed it, that color. Now I'm going to Control C and Control V and make it so that it looks like a bush. Okay, great. We have this now. I'm just going to reshape some of the stuff here because I think it looks better this way. So now we just have these 2 simple trees. So you always want to kind of do something different, because if you have just these like 2, as you can see, 2 triangles in 1 block, it's kind of going to look boring. So I try to put some different stuff, like here I have two triangle points. Here I have 1 triangle point. Here I have no blocks at the bottom. Here I have like no trunks. So we're gonna just copy that. So we can just Control C, Control V, and we can make these a little bit bigger, I think. And we can give it a stem, just like that. We can just put this on the ground, just like that. And now we can give it the fill that's needed, which is essentially, now we just do this 3 times for each tree, and we should have almost the final product. So, welcome to flat design, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah. And if you enjoy this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. It would help me a lot. And yeah, so now that we have this tree, we can add one more tree. Just like, actually, yeah. So we're going to add this tree here. And we're going to add one more tree on the side. So we have this tree here. We can just Control C it, Control V it. And we can put it to the side, or we can move this in front. Doesn't really matter what we pick. I'm actually just going to bring that to front. So now, as you can see, our trees we have depth in our image, and it looks really nice. So now what we're going to do is we're going to basically, so now we have this. You guys might not believe me, but we are done, okay? I'm not even joking, we're done. Last thing we need to really do is just Control C and Control V to make it look like it's wide. So I'm just going to Control C and Control V, Control C and Control V, and I'm going to put it all together, just like this. So I'm going to shape it in a way that it grows, and it looks a little different. So as you can see, just like this, I'm going to click on this frame, and I'm going to make it a little smaller. And as you can see, we have a small bug here, which is we need to make that larger, and this larger. So just like that, we have fixed everything. Everything looks good and proper. And now we basically, essentially, have it all done. So if we just shape it just like that, we have it. We can fix some stuff. We can take out stuff if we don't want it. Like, for example, to make sure that this doesn't look like it's been used over and over and over again, we can take out like a few trees here and there if we want. Like, I can take out all these 3 trees. And now, as you can see, it looks totally different. So now our last thing, I believe, is our moon or sun. So, let's just add an ellipse here. It's just an ellipse, just perfectly shaped. So, let's give it an 80 by 80. 80 by 80 should be good. Not 80 by 70, 80 by 80. Okay, now that we have that, we can just give it a fill of FFF. And as you can see, now we have this beautiful, beautiful, perfect frame flat design. So as you can see, flat design is really, really easy. This is basically it. As you can see, we've almost perfectly recreated this. It's almost a carbon copy. Not quite, but still, it's really good. So as you can see, this is the basics of flat design. Make sure to subscribe and like this content. Make sure to like this video. Give it a like. Really, just give it a like. I'm gonna wait 3 seconds right now. Give it a like right now. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, good. Okay, actually go down there again and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, 3, 2, 1. There, good. Hopefully you've subscribed. If you haven't, do it again. Please just try it. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. I'm pausing this video just for you guys. That's how much I care about the viewers. Okay. So yeah. So basically, that's some flat design tutorial. That's another flat design tutorial. I'm gonna be coming out with more tutorials on Figma, on Canva, on different stuff in programming languages. So make sure to keep on watching these videos. And yeah. So that's a basic tutorial on flat design on our forest tree. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Creative Coding out.